Today I'll share a tip that I'll summarize as connect before you direct. I'm Eva Musby, and the examples I'm going to give you relate to a child with an eating disorder because that's what I help parents with. Note that connect before you direct applies to any person, any age, when there is conflict or distress. Fellow parents, if your child has an eating disorder, you know what it's like to be walking on eggshells. I bet that before things were easy and delightful, and now it seems you can't say anything right. You have the grief of seeing your child suffer so terribly, and you're trying to cope with their resistance, and maybe even with being hated. I wonder if you feel you have lost your power to direct your child wisely, to keep them safe or comfort them, because these days maybe you just can't reach them. Our sons and daughters need our help to do courageous things all the way to recovery. That help is both compassionate and persistent. We are firm and also kind. We attend to what needs to be done and to our connection. Connect before you direct means that when someone is in any intense, raised emotion state, the first thing we do is to connect at a deep human level. We pause, we really listen, we show kindness and acceptance of the human being in front of us. We might connect with compassionate silence, with a hug, or with dialogue that shows we are truly listening and we care. Most of us miss this step and jump to direct, and then we don't understand why we're met with so much resistance when logically we are making so much sense. The issue is that our sensible words add to the noise in the person's brain. All the alarm bells and internal voices going on while they are still disconnected from us and from themselves. They may be in a state of fight, flight, or freeze, overwhelmed with confusion or internal conflict or fear, awash with adrenaline and cortisol. In that kind of state, the brain's prefrontal cortex, which does logic, which does rational thought, is pretty much offline. This is not the time to direct. So connect first. A quick example. Your child says, "I'm not going to Carla's party. Nobody likes me." Most of us quite naturally jump to direct with, "That's not true. Carla invited you because she likes you." Or, "Why don't you give the party a try?" Chances are your child will argue back, right? "I told you, nobody likes me. Nobody ever has. Why don't you ever listen?" So how can you connect first? Just make yourself present. You will have your own style and you shouldn't feel bound by any formula. Connecting might be as simple as you going, showing that you're listening, inviting your child to say more. Or you might repeat some of your child's words, like, "You think nobody likes you?" Or you might say, "Oh, I'm sorry, that sounds tough. I love you." Keep up the connecting until you see signs that your child feels heard, feels cared for. Is their body more relaxed? Have they moved from fury to an "I'm sorry for myself" whimper? Are they sighing, yawning? These are all signs that the nervous system has shifted out of a state of threat towards more safety and connection. Now you can move to the direct bit. If you get more resistance, stop directing and connect with whatever comes up. Now, at the start, most of us don't notice when we're in direct mode. So let me give you some examples so you can pause to connect first, and again, please use your own style. We correct. For example, "No, you're not a selfish person." To connect, we might first say, "I'm sorry, you're sounding down on yourself." We reassure, "This will pass, it will get better." To connect, we might first offer a long hug. Indeed, nonverbal cues like touch, voice, facial expression, and posture, they get your message through to the nervous system more than words. We educate. "Regular nutrition will improve your mood." To connect, we might first say, "I can see how you would be anxious about having a snack in school." We give instructions. "Time for bed." To connect, we might first say, "You look like you're enjoying your phone. And at the same time, I'm conscious it's school night. Notice, by the way, how using and works better than using but. We justify ourselves. I cancelled your sleepover because you'd miss out on several meals. To connect, we might first say, I'm sorry, you were so looking forward to that sleepover. We say no or state our limits. Please stay out of the kitchen while I'm cooking. To connect, we might first say, I'm guessing that when you watch me cooking, you're hoping to reassure yourself about the food? Yes, I'm sorry you get so freaked out about what I might serve. And at the same time, I've learned it's better for you to focus on other things. So please would you leave the kitchen now? We advise or fix. Why don't you stop following those social media sites? To connect, we might first say, I wonder, how do you feel when you see these people showing off their six-packs? We problem solve. For example, you need to schedule breaks into your revision schedule. To connect, we might first say, gosh, no wonder you feel stressed. That's a lot to revise. I would feel stressed too. We insist. You have to eat it. To connect, we might first say, I'm so sorry your tummy is sore. It really sounds painful. It's safe. I'm with you. Keep going. Over to you. Have you had times when part of your brain went offline at a time you were stressed or overwhelmed? Did you become reactive, defensive, in fight or flight? Or maybe you froze, shut down, and your thinking became sluggish and foggy? As a demonstration of connect before you direct, I structured this video to first connect with your feelings and needs before directing you with my advice. I wonder if that helped? Before we close, there's a couple of special situations that may apply to you. First, be aware that sometimes the only response is connection. There is no direct because there is no fix. So if someone is in pain because their dog died, I suggest you just connect. If we find ourselves saying, at least, as in, at least you still have a hamster, we know we've jumped into direct. Usually that's because we can't bear to hold someone's pain. Which brings me to a common fear. What if you screw up? Look, we all do. Not a problem. You can just say, I'm busy giving you advice when you didn't ask for it. Sorry. Tell me more about you. Another common worry is, what if your child accuses you of sounding fake? You can say, oh, damn. Just when you need to know I genuinely care, I sound fake. I'm trying to show you I'm truly with you. Let me try again. Just so you know, there are times when connect before you direct is probably not helpful. First, if you are receiving abuse, I suggest you start with a very clear no. Then you can de-escalate the intensity and go for connection. For instance, no hitting. Come on, sweetie. In this family, we treat each other with respect. So, tell me, what's going on? And then there's meal times with an eating disorder. Connect with nonverbal cues for sure, but keep the verbal empathy brief so as to prioritize direct prompts to eat. So you might say, I'm so sorry, I'm guessing this is really hard for you. Keep going with the pasta, sweetheart. You're combining compassion with persistence. Finally, if the person you're helping is disconnecting from reality, in other words, having a panic attack or looking blank or frozen, you may need to direct them to reconnect with their physical senses before they can connect with you. There is a lot more help from me on communication in all kinds of situations, including meals and meltdowns and panics. Check out my other YouTubes and my website, and of course my book and my bite-sized collection for overwhelmed parents. I hope that you'll find Connect Before You Direct makes you more confident, more effective, that it helps your child to flourish and make life sweeter.